You are now tuned in to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will be discussing actual audio and visual clips captured during the team's investigations. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now smash that like, subscribe, and follow button, and let's get ready to welcome team leader and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and tech specialist and co-host, Mike Del Coro.
Happy Monday, everybody. Yep, you only got me tonight. Mike's a little bit under the weather tonight, so I'm going to be flying solo. So I'm Eric Vanderlaan. I'm your host of the War Party Paranormal Radio Show and team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And yeah, Mike's a little bit under the weather, not feeling well, so I'm riding solo. But don't worry, we got an amazing show for you. So we are honored to have Christy Purdum and Tom Demko from Ghostly Images of Gettysburg tours. And like Gettysburg's like one of my favorite places. Last year, for the first time, we went to the Gettysburg Bash, and we went there for our team, and we went there to do a little memorial for Scotty Burns, our co-founder, who recently passed away. And we're going back. We're coming back to Gettysburg, so be on the lookout for that. So I got a little intro video for everybody. So I'm going to play it now. And here we go. Bam. So yeah, we got a special treat tonight. We're going live at a haunted location in Gettysburg, and I'm not going to waste any time. And let's welcome Tom and Christy. Bam.
Hey, Eric.
Welcome to the
nice
show.
Great. Nice to be with you and your audience tonight.
Yeah.
Our studio, makeshift studio, is inside the dining room of the haunted orphanage.
That's right. Nothing better than a haunted studio. Right?
That's true. It's more than just us two here. I'm pretty confident of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anything going on now?
It seems pretty quiet right now. We do have a dead bell behind us. We'll see if they interact with that while we're on the air here. Okay. You just never know. This building can be very active.
So, we have people who watch our show are paranormal investigators from all over the U.S., and I know that you guys do tours and private investigations. Could you talk a little bit about Ghostly Images of Gettysburg tours?
Sure. Well, we're very proud of our company. We have a great team of tour guides. Christy works very closely with us, with our private investigation groups. So as tours go, we do tours of the Jenny Wade House, which is right across the street from where we are right now. A very historically haunted home, site of the lone civilian killed during the Battle of Gettysburg. And we do tours of the building we're in now, the Homestead Orphanage, which has a dark history from its time that it served as a children's home after the Civil War and was run for many years by a very cruel matron who did all types of despicable acts of torturing the children while they were here. So,
very sad.
This building does have a dark history. Both buildings are very paranormally active. We have, tours throughout the year where just March is when we really start to kick into the season, and we do nightly tours of both buildings. We do late night combo tours, which are in the dark of both houses. And the private investigations are available to the public. They can rent either the orphanage or the Jenny Wade, or a combination of both. Usually they're late at like midnight to 2, 3, or 4 in the morning, and we get groups from all over the country that come and investigate with us. We have groups who come and film for their YouTube channels. We've had hosted some of the most famous groups out there over the last several years, from Sam and Colby to Project Fear to Amy's Crypt, and can go on and on and on. And we also
We need the
offer a
haunted
midnight
files.
investigation.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, Jason Hawes was just here casing the joint out. He's going to be coming into film, so we get all the, and they're really great. It's so great. Steel agree. We meet all these great paranormal folks that become our friend. We treat everybody like family when they come here.
Yeah,
we take great pride in treating everybody right when they film and investigate with us. And we also offer a midnight investigation tour, which we just started last year, where we have a local paranormal team who are really excellent. They're called Black Lantern Paranormal. They're all from Gettysburg, and a couple of them are scientists. They try to debunk things. They're really excellent. And that's a new tour we offered starting last year that's become very popular, where folks who may not be part of a paranormal team but would like to investigate like a pro, because they bring all their equipment and cameras in. And it's a really neat way to investigate the buildings. So yeah, we have a lot going. We're proud that we were named the #1 tour company in Gettysburg the last couple of years.
Nice.
There's many tour companies, and the TripAdvisor Award of Excellence. So there's our tooting our own horn just a little.
Congratulations.
But and yes, and Christina, this is Christy Purdum. Christina Rowan is our tour manager, and she's a little under the weather actually, but she does a wonderful job of running the Ghostly Images part of things, and we all work closely with her. And she's amazing. She's in a lot of the groups that film. She portrays 2 characters of historical significance to both buildings. Mrs. Mary Wade, she portrays in character as a ghost, who was Jenny Wade's mother. And in this building, she plays Miss Rosa, the cruel matron who did some terrible things.
That could be a good trigger object, right?
Oh yeah. Well, she will always say she was a skeptic until she started going into these houses, and she has had some really interesting experiences.
I think we all have.
As we all have.
Now, like when you have like living like historical tour guides who are dressed up as period, do you believe that could stir things up in these locations?
I think so. No, I'm sure it does, because Miss Rosa, very authentic. The costumes are right to the period. I also portray the founder of the orphanage was Dr. Bournes, and I dress as a Victorian era doctor. And but the buildings are active. I mean, the tours that I give here, just about every tour, somebody will have an experience in either this building or the Jenny Wade house, from being touched or poked or feel fingers in their hair, whispers. I always do EVP sessions, and just about every tour at some point we hear a response from the spirits in the house. And we've had so many psychics and mediums walk through the building, and so many people, including the mediums, just are overcome by the darkness they feel, especially down the steps. We're on the main level of the orphanage, but in the cellar is where the children were actually shackled to the walls, placed in barrels of cold water with their wrists tied. And there's also the infamous pit in the cellar, which is a confined space that Rosa would place children in there and shackle them or tie them up, and they could be down in that pit for hours, days, sometimes as long as a week. And the cellar is dark. There are no windows down there, so they would have been in total darkness. And it's just horrific, the torture and abuse these children that came here. And the sad part is that, these kids came here, they all lost their fathers during the battle, this various Civil War battles. And you would think, they came here to find their new family, new friends. And a lot of the mothers were still alive, but back then was a different time, and it was considered that a woman was not capable of properly raising a child without a man in the house, because most women didn't earn an income back then. So they felt better off that their children would be in an orphanage that we had here, and counting on the children to be safe and well fed, well clothed, get a good education. But it
The
did
opposite.
happen that way when the orphanage opened right after the Civil War in 1866. And for the first 3 years, things went really, really well. But then in 1870 is when this Dr. Bournes hired Miss Rosa, and that's
Mhm.
where everything changed here. And her reign would continue for 7 years. So there's a lot of bad things that happened during her tenure here.
By the way, everyone who
So,
just joined on the show, we're in Gettysburg. We're at the orphanage, and we got actually the dead bell. We're hoping that's going to kick in.
that bell's quiet so far.
Yeah, it is.
So I got a question. Hey, Candy.
You never know.
She runs another haunted location. But I got a question. Christy, how does one want to get into a haunted ghost tour?
How does one get into it, or
No,
like how do they book it?
What's your fascination? Like, what got you into doing these tours? Were you into the
What got me into it?
paranormal?
Oh my goodness.
Are you an investigator?
It was about 7 years ago. I joined a group of ladies that came to Gettysburg to do a private investigation of a private house. This lady was having trouble with whatever spirit was there, and it was really bothering her and her son, like their living conditions, their sleeping patterns. She got scared, pretty much packed a suitcase, and went to her mother's. So they called in this medium and paranormal investigator team, and we went in for 2 days and investigated. And I went in
Are you sensitive?
just as like their photographer and to take videos and just take pictures. I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up with an attachment.
Oh, wow.
So then after being there and
It's
seeing
not
that,
me, is it?
after being there and then see it, like I ended up seeing it on an MRI image. And I was like,
Oh,
whoa, what is
wow.
this? I really got my interest in it from there. And then when we moved to
Okay.
Gettysburg, it was just kind of a given.
I don't know. Can I give a
Oh,
shout out? I
okay.
don't know if he's still watching. He's in the chat. Mike Gagliano is a
There he
gentleman
is.
we met
Bam.
last year at the Bash, and
Oh,
he
yes.
is part of the Stream Beacon Network. He has his own show called Para with a Normal, and you got to know Mike. There he is. Mike is a funny guy, and he's actually going to adopt me. Mike is going to adopt me because I'm the oldest orphan still in this building, and I call him my daddy.
There
So we have a lot of fun with it, and when he comes out this June, we're going to see. But I don't know if I really don't want
Well, Mike and Mary Lynn were on our show not too long ago.
to. Yeah, well, Mike, I could probably live in Vegas. That could be a cool option.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
This dark place. But we'll see, Daddy.
There he is.
We'll
My
see,
son.
Daddy. There he is. Yeah, we love Mike. Anyway.
And he did say he's kind of sensitive. It takes a good amount to hurt his feelings.
Well, but
That's
he's
why
still
they brought
learning,
that.
though. This is the paranormal's all new to him, and so is the Civil War history. He thinks the battle here was between the Union and the Confederation, and not we all know it's the Confederates, but he calls it
There he is,
Confederation.
Confederation. Y'all
He
talking
still
about
has. He's getting better, though. He's picking up on things.
It's not Star Trek, Mike.
Yeah, no.
So, Christy, are you sensitive?
Mike.
Do you sense things or intuitive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, wow. So you probably see some, like, this has got to be some 2 active locations, and you're probably like, you're pretty much used to it, right? How long have you been working the tours?
Yeah, but there's been times I've gone out the door pretty quickly though.
Yes.
And Tom, you said
Christy's
that you
definitely
actually
more sensitive.
April's in the house.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm originally. Yeah, I mean,
I see all kinds of people.
I'm originally from New Jersey, and I started visiting Gettysburg in the year 2000. My older brother used to love Gettysburg and used to come out here all the time. And then he moved here. So from visiting him, I fell in love with Gettysburg, not only the history, but became intrigued with the paranormal, because I remember one of the first visits
Well,
was standing in the middle of the wheat. Go ahead.
No, I
I
was
was
just saying, April, we said
standing in the middle of the wheat field, one of the first visits with one of the, oh, April, she's another good one. We love April. What's haunted? What's Get Haunted, right?
Yeah.
Get Haunted magazine.
She's from Get Haunted. Yep.
Great magazine. Anyway,
And
so
Ghosted.
yeah,
No, she's from
April,
Ghosted
we love her.
magazine.
She's a Jersey gal too.
Yep. Yes, she
Ghosted.
is.
I'm sorry, Ghosted magazine.
We got to investigate with
Yeah,
April at
she's
White
awesome.
Hill Mansion in New Jersey not too long ago.
Yeah, cool.
Man, we
Yeah.
got some crazy activity. It was pretty amazing. Ghosted magazine. There you go. Bam.
If Mike does a tour with us, does he have to bring his own toaster? Toaster? Why would you
He's
bring
in
a
the
toaster?
toasters now.
Wouldn't
By the
work.
way, if you guys want to check
Oh.
out an amazing magazine, go check out Ghosted magazine and go get your subscription now. It's amazing. They got great articles.
Yep.
Michael Castro, aka Danger. The photography is amazing, so check that out.
Mike Castro is an amazing photographer and graphic artist. We actually
Yeah, he
are
is.
hoping to get him to do a little work with our company, because he is really good. He is top.
Yep,
notch.
very good.
But yep. So
Now, Tom, you
so
sure
yeah, I
have
became intrigued with the paranormal.
we got a little lag here,
Go
so
ahead.
I was just saying that you have my
Go ahead,
dream
Eric.
job. You've been living there for the past 4 years, right?
Yeah, we must. Yeah, well, when I was living in Jersey, like far back as 15 years ago, and was in the midst of my career, when I used to visit Gettysburg, I hated to go home. And for years, I kept saying, I want to move to Gettysburg. I want to move to Gettysburg. And finally, when I retired from my professional career, the opportunity came up. And the first apartment I happened to notice online was the orphanage. So I immediately called which would become my landlord, a man named Max Felty, who runs Gettysburg tours and oversees all operations.
And were you with the paranormal
And
at the time?
I was the first one. What's that?
Were you into the paranormal at the time?
Oh yeah, from visiting Gettysburg. I had visited for 20 years and had a lot of interesting experiences on the battlefield. The battlefields at one time used to be open at 10 o'clock at night. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
awesome coming here. Even in the winter, it would get dark early and you could roam those, and there's no vibe like walking the battlefields in total darkness. And I had a lot of different experiences and captured a lot of EVPs and saw my first, in my 24 years. I mean, a lot of people come to Gettysburg and think anytime they come, they're going to see a ghost. And I try to tell them it really doesn't happen all that often unless you're sensitive. Or, I believe 10% of our population are a little more open-minded to seeing apparitions. A lot of children on our tours pick up things that the adults don't. 20 years ago on Little Round Top, it was 10:15, and the fields had closed at 10. I was with my sister, and it was a very foggy night. I said, we need to get out of here so we don't get a summons. And as I was driving on the summit of Little Round Top, we both saw at least a dozen soldiers march out of a fog bank.
Oh,
In
wow.
full Union uniforms, carrying muskets. They were marching in formation, and I looked at their faces. They were pale, no expression, no emotion, and we believe we actually captured apparitions on Round Top. And other people who come to Gettysburg have seen apparitions on the battlefield. So.
And as you're talking, I see like a white orb come in and out, like of light in between you guys. It could be something from the lighting. I don't know.
There is a
Oh,
light
there it-
on the
Oh,
back.
there it is.
okay.
Yeah,
There
there's a
you
light
go.
on the back.
Yeah, when you
That's
move it,
we
it comes in
debunked
and
that
out.
one.
Debunked. There you go.
Yeah, it's debunked. It's right now. Me and Christy are pretty relaxed.
Yeah, like I
here.
see it right there. There,
No,
see, there it goes. There
Yeah.
it is.
There is something there.
Yeah, there's
I don't know what
nothing
that
back there that would be doing
is.
that.
Something.
Well, if you move
why
your
is it
head,
turning on, and
it blocks
it might
the
be
light.
that.
It might be the reflection of this
I
one.
think it's a reflection.
Yep, there it is.
Oh no, I'm covering it.
Oh, well, You never know in this room. But, yeah.
Well, we'll just watch it.
So, yeah, I moved here 4 years ago. And when I tell people on my tours that I live in the building, most of them gasp and say, "How could you live in this building?" And I tell them it's very simple. The rent is very, very cheap, very cheap to live here. That's one of my corny jokes. But my second, where I believe I've seen an apparition in Gettysburg, happened when I moved here 4 years ago, and I was only here a couple weeks. And when I first moved here, the spirits in this building really did try to get my attention by moving things and making noises. And one afternoon, I was taking an afternoon nap on my sofa in my living room. And when I woke up from that nap, at the foot of my couch, I did see a woman in a black Victorian dress. Her hair was up in a bun with a little hat, and scared the heck out of me. But I did
In
what
the
any brave
orphanage?
man would do. I pulled the blanket over my head and hid under the blanket. And when I peeked out, she was gone. And my living room is kind of directly above us, was the living space of Rosa Carmichael, the cruel matron, when she served as the matron here. So even though we don't have any photograph, we can verify what she looks like. When I
Right.
saw this woman, that was my first reaction. This has got to be Rosa Carmichael checking on me. So yeah, I've been startled many times, but as I say on my tours, I've never been physically harmed. And I say the day comes where I become physically harmed. That's when you'll see the for rent sign, and then maybe Eric will maybe want to take over my
Hello.
apartment. Then.
I'm looking for a
See.
vacant
Yeah.
vacant room there. Let me know. It'll be my summer home.
I mean,
I'll go up there in the summertime.
well, it was Dr. Bournes who was the founder. He used to spend his summers here as his summer vacation home. And he obviously had to know what Miss
There you
Rosa
go.
was doing to the children.
You see, that could
Dr.
trigger
Bournes
something.
was not such a good he was not such a good man either. The founder, he was known to have been embezzling funds and donation money that
Oh,
came
wow.
here. So he was probably just as evil as Miss Rosa, but Miss Rosa was here more often than the doctor. So, but yeah, I mean, moving to Gettysburg was my dream for so long. A lot of people that visit Gettysburg, there's something that draws people back here. You know, we
Oh,
see people coming
definitely.
back time. I mean, I probably visited, it's no exaggeration. I drove from Jersey, which was 3.5 to 4 hours, any chance I could get on the weekends. And over 20 years, I probably came here 150 times. And that's why I
Oh,
said
wow.
I think it's time that I move here. And, and I love living here. And I love that I live in a part of town. I'm right next door to the National Cemetery where Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address. I can walk through the
Very
town
cool.
and living in this building, amongst the spirits. It's not for everybody, but for me, it was I look out my window, I can see a portion of the battlefield. So checked off all the boxes. So in a way, I feel like I'm living my dream.
Yeah, you're living the dream, Tom.
I am. Not many people always talk about wanting to live the dream, and this dream may not be for everybody, but for me, I do feel like I'm living the dream in my golden years.
I'm telling you right now, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Oh,
There's
went
the
the
bell.
dead bell.
That's a confirmation.
That's confirmation. Thank you, friends. But
By the way,
I am
they got
very
a dead bell behind them. So
Yes, I
if you
do.
heard that ring, it pinged after that question. So I
It
don't know.
went crazy yesterday. Yesterday, we gave a tour to a group of members of the FBI Academy in training. So you think they're pretty brave, but that bell went crazy at one point, and I think even they got a little scared.
Yeah.
Even though they're pretty brave people. But, yeah, people sometimes go through these buildings and will leave because they're just overcome by the feelings of darkness and emotion. So it's not for the faint of heart. But most people
Right.
take our tours will get a good history lesson, because I always say to understand what happened in this building or the Jenny Wade house, you need to know the history. And then we share our own personal experiences and experiences of guests. So, it's an informative tour, and the creepiness of both buildings are far more than any story that we can tell.
You've been living there for 4 years, right?
Yep.
And so the activity, is it like daily? Is it every week?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
how
things
often?
I've become so accustomed to it when I'm here by myself. it doesn't really phase me all that much, only because the spirits here know me. I know that I treat them with respect because I had an experience in Jersey
Absolutely.
10 years ago where and I'll tell that story in a little bit, where I had the worst experience of my life with the paranormal. But I feel the vibe when I give the tours. I'm confident the spirits here draw on the energy of the people on the tours, and
Definitely.
I feel something more when I give the tours than when I might sit down here by myself one night. But one thing my investigating, Christy investigates, and she likes to use a lot of cool equipment. When I used to come to Gettysburg, and to this day, other than the dead bell, that was a new piece, but I basically used a digital recorder, flashlight, and a camera. And if I
Right.
captured some really cool EVPs, that just made it for me. And obviously today, paranormal groups will spend tens of thousands of dollars on their
Tell
high-tech
me about
equipment,
it.
which is fine. And last night I was watching one of Jason Hawes' videos, because now he's on his YouTube channel. And he was with Kalani Ghost Hunter, who's also another good friend of ours who's been here. And he did it so old school. And I kind of enjoyed it because they
Yeah.
basically filmed. They had occasionally Kalani pulled out a piece of equipment, but you watching it from home, you could almost feel what they were feeling as you're just visually looking at the building they were in, or
Right.
so everybody has their own style.
So Tom and Christy, we gotta take a little commercial break. We gotta pay some bills here.
Yeah, do it.
And then we're gonna talk more about Gettysburg. How about
All
that?
right. Sounds good.
All right. So we'll be right back. And here we go. Bam. What is up, my paranormal peeps? You may be wondering why we're holding something like these in our hand, and my buddy's going to tell you all about it.
The reason that we have this paranormal equipment in our hand is because we're giving a big shout out to the Ghost Hunter store, one of our sponsors. They're your one-stop shop for everything paranormal.
That's right, and you may have seen some of these equipment on your favorite paranormal TV shows.
Exactly, especially the Haunted Files on Paraflix.
Mike's got that right.
All right, guys, so check them out, and if you use the code word Ghost Gone Wild,
Not Girls Gone Wild.
Ghost Gone Wild, in your checkout, you'll get a discount on your purchase. Thank you, guys.
Peace. Hi, I'm Eric, and this is Mike from War Party Paranormal Radio Show and the Haunted Files on Paraflix. Mike, we got something pretty cool, right?
Heck yeah. So, I want to talk about Haunted Happy Hour, spirit-infused coffee. They have many different flavors, all kinds of different stuff. They're great people. They have a podcast with great content, and they got an amazing product here. So, this one actually is Sweet Rum Bliss. And what's amazing about this, you order this product and you also get 1 month free subscription to Paraflix. So you can watch us.
Yeah, and you might be feeling dead inside, but get caffeinated with Haunted Happy Hour.
All right.
Are you ready to explore the unknown?
Eventually.
Brace yourself for a journey into the supernatural. Paraflix Paranormal Plus, your gateway to the paranormal, all-in-one streaming service. Dare to explore, dare to believe, dare to stream alone.
It does not want us here.
Sign up now and embark on a supernatural adventure like never before. Paraflix Paranormal Plus, the universal home of paranormal.
All right. So Tom and Christy, Mike and I have a show called The Haunted Files that streams on Paraflix.
Okay.
And for everyone that's watching, we just dropped a new episode last Friday night, so you're gonna want to check it out if you haven't. It's the Haunted Roadhouse. It was filmed up in Rock Island, Illinois. Um, you got spirits there of gangsters. John Looney, who used to hang out with Al Capone, was a brothel at one time. The mob hung out there. There were some killings there. So I'm going to play the trailer of that episode. And if you guys don't have a Paraflix subscription and you're interested in getting one, make sure you enter the code The Haunted Files 25 to get 25% off the annual subscription. And here's our trailer. Bam.
The Rock Island Roadhouse, once a respectable YMCA, harbors a dark and chilling past beneath its outward charm.
This was originally built as a YMCA in 1912. 1912, the whole city was run by gangsters.
I hear voices. And I heard it like...
Oh no, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. God. No, I don't like this. Guys, get me out of here. I don't like this. I don't like this setup. No, this. I don't like this.
I told you they're watching you. Right now, they're watching you. Matter of fact, they're probably behind you.
All right.
Cool.
So yeah, check it out. One of our team members, Franny, she has a fear of clowns, and they have a room there that's super haunted that's dedicated to clowns. That's where the henchmen used to hang out for the mob, and we stuck Franny there. We had her do a little isolation and had her face her fears.
I don't like creepy dolls, and I guess I can quickly tell you the worst paranormal experience I ever had. If you would like to hear it, it was
Go ahead.
in New Jersey at a time.
They want to hear it too.
Yeah, well, I'll try to make it quick, but my sister, my lovely sister, thought it would be a good idea to order me a couple dolls off eBay that belonged to a woman in Arizona who practiced witchcraft. And she was going in a nursing home, and her daughter was selling her stuff. Now, at that time, my ghost hunting was always coming to Gettysburg. When I went back home, I didn't think much about it. So I get these dolls that I figure I have to try.
It's like, you're crazy.
I know. Well, I pulled out my little recorder, and it took a few days before they started responding. And I did, make a long story short, I started antagonizing. I was throwing the dolls, calling them names, and then everything turned really creepy. I was hearing chanting in my apartment with my live ear every night. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill you. They were visiting. I have two brothers and a sister. They were getting visits at night, even though they lived in different towns and different states. And to say that I was never so scared of my life would be an understatement. And again,
and that's why you're respectful now, right?
Well, that is why, but it did lead. I actually had to have an exorcism done of my apartment, which was done by a team from South Jersey Paranormal Research, which is run by Dave Giuliani and Pat Kibbe. Dave was under the weather, but Pat Kibbe and her team visited with me 3 different times and did an exorcism, and I always knock on wood, it did clear out those nasties. But I tell you,
amazing person.
The things I learned, and it was hard. I was scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
Yeah, like people they say people are like, oh, I want to see dark stuff like that, but like you really don't want to see stuff like that.
No, it wasn't like hearing an EVP or something that's entertaining, or you stay in a
it messes with you like to the core,
you stay in a haunted breakfast and turn all the lights out. This was the real deal, and You know,
Hmm.
they said they're going to slit my throat. They told me when and what time. And remember that night I had a stack of Bibles next to me, and I actually had the camera running just in case they did do it. I figured might as well
Mhm.
capture it, which obviously they didn't. But mentally, it was just hard. You know, it scared the hell out of
So when they did the exorcism, did that
me.
rid of the dark
Yeah, it
dark that
did.
was there?
You can feel all the dark energy go away. The chanting stopped. They took those dolls. There were two of them, and there's a certain way they properly dispose of them. And there's a lot more to the story, but I don't want to take too much
Right.
more time. But that's the thrift of the nasty
Right,
part.
right. But that didn't scare you from researching the
Well,
paranormal, right?
well, and the other part, which I'm just going to mention, there was a good part to it, that there was a good spirit amongst me while all this was happening. And it turns out, it sounds crazy when I tell it, but he is my guardian angel or protector spirit. His name is Adam. And I believe he is with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, looking over me, keeping me safe. And he actually does
Right.
speak to me through a simple digital recorder. And it's changed my whole life, to be honest with you, to know, I mean,
So
you know,
let's start with the orphanage. Like, what type of things happen there? And you said there's nothing malevolent. It just mostly like
well,
sadness that happens there.
I'm not sure about that statement because, first of all, we think most psychics and mediums, and for me living here, do
Hmm.
believe that Rosa Carmichael still is around the building. She may not make herself known as often as you might think, but I do believe
Does she
she's.
make yourself known to you?
When I first moved here, more so, I was getting responses, and initially, she actually was responding to me in a positive way until I started questioning all her bad deeds, and she seemed to not communicate with me as much as she did. But there's still a lot of children's spirits in the building. I capture voices of children all the time.
Mhm.
But there may be something even darker than the evil Miss Rosa here. We had a couple of mediums here maybe a few months ago. One of them was Sean Austin. I don't know if you know Sean, and he was down in our cellar, and
Battleship.
he was picking up on something. He said, "This is much darker than Rosa Carmichael," and he described something that had hooves, claws, and a tail. And after he left the cellar, I said, "Sean, would you mind coming up to my apartment? I've never had a medium in my apartment." And
Hmm.
initially he said, "Well, things are a lot calmer here, which is good for you because you live here." And I said, "Well, thanks,
Right.
obviously." But then apparently that creature he described followed him upstairs and was in my living room, which I was not too comfortable. And then only a few weeks after Sean was here, there was a woman here that was actually took our investigation tour, and she picked up on the same thing that Sean described. They don't even know each other. She would have no knowledge of it. Of a thing with hooves, tails, claws. She actually sketched something. So last she said was, "It seems to be pretty docile in the basement right now, so don't try to antagonize it." So maybe by talking about
That
it, I
bell.
and
Yeah, the bell goes
some
off.
of our other tour guides that have been with us a while feel like there's something really nasty in that cellar. So
Well,
You
that's
know what's
fascinating.
sort of weird? You know what I see on Christie's left shoulder? Is there like a hook with like a jacket or something hanging on that?
yeah, there is. Yeah, there is a little
What's up
display,
right
like
right above that? It looks like I see like a cat. Looks like cat ball lights.
Oh,
emergency
it's an
light.
emergency light.
Yeah,
Oh,
emergency
okay. All right. Debunked
light.
again.
Yeah.
So it's about the
I'm
size of your
trying
hand.
so hard.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, the odds are against we're going to actually see something. But one thing that's new at the orphanage, which is pretty cool, which is I wish
Very
we
bright.
had our portable gadget I would show you. The room that's directly in front of me, there's a door that was originally the parlor of the orphanage, and for many years it served as our gift shop. But we moved our gift shop into our new tour center building across the street. So we are in the process of refurbishing the room, and we knocked down a wall, a wood panel wall that was backed up by that horsehair plaster,
Mhm.
and we uncovered the original brick, two fireplaces, two windows, and we actually found a few interesting artifacts in the walls. And one is
Interesting.
a bone that we're going to get analyzed, and a lot of people think it might be a human rib bone or perhaps even a child's, which would it's a
Oh
child's.
wow.
obviously be very sad. And we also found a safe an old safe wedged into the fireplace that is still locked. So I don't know if you
Oh,
go back
interesting.
long enough, Eric, to Geraldo Rivera. You mentioned Al Capone earlier. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
you remember, 1986, Geraldo Rivera had a big hour-and-a-half TV special where they were going to open up Al Capone's safe.
Oh, I
And
think I
after,
remember that.
and when they opened it, there was nothing in the safe. So his
Oh my.
career sort of took a nosedive. So we have a safe that we got to get somebody to open for us, and maybe nothing in
How
there,
old do you think it is? You think it dates
but
back
we
to the Civil
yeah,
War?
the safe. Well, the safe. I don't. The safe is old, but the dial looks like it's been changed, and there have
Mhm.
been a couple businesses here over the years. There was a Hollywood actor who actually ran a museum here in the late 1950s and 1960s. I don't know if the name Cliff Arquette rings a bell. His grandchildren, David and Patricia, are actors, and he used to be on the game show Hollywood Squares. He played a character called Charlie Weaver. He ran a very popular museum here for, like I said, from the late 50s, early 1960s. And it could have been his safe, or I don't know. I mean, certainly want to open it up, see
So
if
what
there's
was it
anything
before
inside. We
that?
did find it could be, we don't know for sure, but we'll see.
No,
I'm
but I
sure we'll get
mean,
somebody.
It was a
Uh,
before
home before.
oh, well,
so
before
it
the
was the home?
orphanage. Yeah, the building was built in 1836, and the man who lived in here and would sell it to the folks who formed the orphanage, actually, his name was Captain John Myers, and he fought in the War of 1812. So this was his home before it became the orphanage, and after the orphanage, it was basically apartments. I think it was a boarding house for a while, but Charlie Weaver's museum was very popular. Charlie Weaver did a lot for tourism back in the late 50s and 60s, and
Okay.
was very well
Were
respected for his
there
civil.
has there been any reported paranormal activity back when it was apartments? People were
Oh
living
God,
there?
that I wouldn't know. Only know from the time that I was here. But when I
Right.
asked Max Felty, who was my landlord, when I saw the apartment, I don't think he wanted to tell me about the haunted history, but I obviously knew
You already
about
knew
it.
it.
And I asked Max, I
This is
said,
why I'm here, damn it.
yeah, well, I think I caught him off guard. I said, "Oh, is this place really haunted?" And he said, "Well, there are stories." So now I say, Max, it's more than stories. He was trying to get me in
True
and get
life
my rent.
stories.
He just wanted my rent check, I think. He didn't care.
Yeah. It's like, I'll
He's a,
tell you
he's,
any kind of story you want to hear.
Mhm.
he's a great guy. So yeah, I wish we could show it to you, but it's really cool. Maybe you can see behind us, because behind us we uncovered. I don't know if you can see the windows and brick that
Yes, I can.
that was covered by like layers of plaster wall for 100 years, and we did this 2 years
Oh,
ago and
wow.
uncovered the original windows and original bricks. So it's
Mhm.
Very cool.
we're really trying to up things here, try to make it as period as we can. And the Jenny Wade house across the street is, that's actually a house. It's an 8-room house, and there are
It's
a
in a pla-
couple. There's a couple
it's a
of
museum,
original.
right?
Yeah, it's actually the oldest museum in Gettysburg. It's been an active museum since 1901, and it still has on the upstairs and steps all the original floors. There's the original dough tray that Jenny Wade was kneading flour when she was fatally shot, and
Hmm.
so both houses are cool, and we debate which one is more paranormally active. I will always say vote for the orphanage. I don't know what
I always say genuine
she
house.
says, Jenny. So
And Christy, how long have you been working on the tour?
I've been here, it's right now like almost a year. March,
no longer
like
than
March
that.
1st
But
is a
you've been
year.
involved in the
But
paranormal.
I've been involved
In the
in
paranormal in Gettysburg.
And what's the craziest thing you've experienced there in the orphanage?
the orphanage. Oh,
Yeah.
we were set up. Actually, I was set up with Goonies Paranormal one night, and Tom was down with us in the back room. Um, that used to be the play yard when it was the orphanage, and we
Uh,
had a couple cat balls set up. There's a dough table back there as well, but we had a couple cat balls set up on top of it, and one got pushed off. We were walking to go outside and then come back in, and one got pushed off at the table. So that was probably the most wild thing here.
But I know we had last year there was a couple people on our tours in the same room that Christy's talking about. It was the backyard, but now it's a big room that Charlie Weaver built for his museum, and we use it for the tours. And there's a closet with a glass door. And last year, after one of my tours, a 12-year-old boy, as I'm saying goodnight to people, very politely said, "Excuse me, who was that man by the gray door?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I said, "What was he wearing?" He said, "Well, he was dressed all in gray." I said, "Was it like modern clothing we wear today?" He said, "Oh, no, it wasn't modern clothing." And I said, "When you saw this man, did you get scared?" He says, "Oh, no, he waved to me." And then I got a bit of a chill after that, and I didn't ask him any more questions. And about a week later, a young man, about 19 or 20, he too saw a man in that same closet. So, it does happen. Doesn't happen a lot. I mean, shadow
Right.
figures, especially in the Jenny Wade house, for the last few years, many people in taking photographs have captured the image of a shadow man, and some of them are really compelling. And I think we
Really.
captured more picture evidence in the Jenny Wade
Mhm.
house. And the shadow man's always wearing a wide brim hat. He's very tall with a long dark coat. He's come up many times actually.
Now, people that don't know the story of the Jenny Wade house, she was an innocent bystander that was
Yeah.
actually in the house and was shot and killed during the Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, she was the only civilian. The sad part is the house is named the Jenny Wade house, but she never actually lived there. It was this home of her sister, Georgia. And at the time, Georgia had just delivered birth 5 days before the battle of a baby boy. She had a
Mhm.
difficult pregnancy and she was ordered 2 weeks bed rest. So, July 1st, when the Confederates come into Gettysburg, they actually control the town, the streets. And Jenny had lived in one of the streets about 300 yards from her sister's home. And because the town was consumed by the Confederates, she thought she'd be safer in her sister's home. So in the home was Jenny, her mother, Mrs. Mary Wade, Georgia and her baby, and 2 children. So they were just in the crossfire because the Jenny Wade house is right on East Cemetery Hill, which was a Union position, and the Confederates were trying to take that hill, and they were firing at anything in the direction of that house. To this day, you can still see 150 bullet holes in the
Wow.
house, including the bullet hole that penetrated the front door and the inside door. There was an inside door propped open because Jenny was kneading flour at the dough tray, and the bullet went through 2 doors and struck her in the upper left part of her back, pierced her heart. She died instantly before she hit the floor. So
Oh,
yeah, it's
wow.
a tragic story, and
Yeah.
She has a beautiful, grave and plot in the Evergreen Cemetery, which is the town cemetery next to the National Cemetery that was here during the battle. It's a cool cemetery to walk through because all of Gettysburg's founding fathers and prominent residents are buried there, and you can still see the damage on many of the headstones from the Civil War fighting that took place. And
Oh, wow.
Jenny has
Check
a
that out.
perpetual Jenny is one of only 2 women in the United States that has a perpetual flag that flies above her grave, and the other woman being Betsy Ross. So the Jenny Wade story is a very interesting story of what the family dealt with, and she was doing her best to serve the Union troops, as was her mother, and
Mhm.
they were just in the wrong place. Her house that she lived on a street called Breckenridge had 0 bullet holes in it, so it definitely was not the best option to go to her sister George's
Did
house.
other people die in that house?
No, Jenny was the only civilian killed. I mean, when the battle was raging, most people went into their cellars to be safe or fled to the outskirts of town. But they were working. The soldiers wanted bread and water, and
Mhm.
Jenny was giving her service to her country, and it cost her life. And a lot of people don't realize that while Jenny was the only civilian killed during the battle, there were dozens of local citizens who died during the aftermath of the battle. I remember that thousands of 50,000 casualties of wounded soldiers, dead soldiers. The soldiers that died were buried in graves that were only 6 inches to a foot deep, and heavy
Mhm.
rains hit Gettysburg the night of July 3rd, washing away the
Wow.
soil of these graves. So you had arms and legs and faces protruding through the ground. The
Horrific.
smell of death was everywhere in this town. And disease. Animals, small animals and insects were spreading disease, and sadly, the armies they leave a lot of carnage behind, including a lot of live artillery shells. And young children would go treasure hunting, and a lot of boys, especially, would pick up a live shell and that would burst and would kill them instantly. So it's much more. It was more than just Jenny Wade who lost her life in the battle here.
Yeah.
So, which is why, mile for mile or whatever they say, Gettysburg is probably one of the most haunted towns in America, because anywhere you roam in the battlefields or in these buildings, that even modern buildings across the street from us, there's a inn called the 1863 Inn, which is sort of right next to the Jenny Wade house. And some people actually ask, how did so many bullets hit this house with the 1863 Inn standing right here? Well, it was built in 1963, and even people staying there, while it's a more modern structure, have a lot of activity because the ground that it sits on saw a lot of fighting. So it's not always the age of the building, it's the ground that it's on. And the battlefield in Gettysburg spans 25 square miles. So it's a lot of battlefield. And it's very well preserved, one of the best preserved battlefields in the country. So if people have not been to Gettysburg, it's certainly a place everyone should visit at least once. And when you become obsessed with it, like I did, you just keep coming back, and you eventually move here. So it's a special place.
I'm coming back to hang out with you guys.
Well, you come back, we'll hang out and have a good time, and it'll be a lot of fun.
You're my kind of people.
Oh yeah, we're easy. We get along with everybody, right?
Everybody.
We try to be nice.
So let me ask you this question, because me and our team, War Party Paranormal, we do events down here in South Florida. So we've spent a lot of hours investigating the same location, to where there are spirits there, because spirits we're humans, right? They're people. They're just bodily challenged. We build up relationships with these spirits. Does that happen with you at Jenny Wade and the orphanage? Is there any certain type of spirit you think you have a connection with?
You want to answer?
Well, we always have Billy over at the Jenny Wade house.
There's a spirit of a mischievous boy named Billy, who's we believe is 5 or 6, and he likes to interact, and there's a lot of energy in his bedroom, and I think he tends to follow us. I know one night I said, Billy, I got my Christmas decorations up. You want to come with me to the orphanage? And I think he took me up on that. But yeah, there are some known. There's a young girl in the cellar here by the name of Emily that actually has shown up quite vividly in photographs. The best picture was taken by Pam Barry, who runs the Gettysburg Battlefield Dash.
Pam, I know.
She captured a great image of a girl sitting on the bench in the cellar. But as far as relationship, the only one I've developed is the guy I mentioned earlier, this Adam, who I think is my protector or guardian. And if he ever told me in my lifetime I would have a friend that I've never seen and that I can actually exchange conversation with, can't always make out what he says, and it sounds, most people, I would say, probably don't believe it, but I would put my hand on a stack of Bible. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Do you think Adam is related to Gettysburg, or
I think Adam came. I think I met Adam when I had that awful experience in Jersey with those nasty spirits. And I even talked to a Catholic priest. I said, I'm talking to the spirit. He's saying everything is loving and comforting. He's talking to me about heaven, but should I be talking to him? Because some people say you shouldn't. And the priest told me, well, if he's giving you positive messages, why wouldn't you? And anything he's ever said to me has been comforting, positive, never any indication that it might be an evil spirit in disguise. I think after 9 years, I would know. And, and I think I will meet him when I meet my own earthly demise, because he always says, I'm going to raise you up. And that's when I'm going to meet him. Nice. But whenever he says, I'm going to raise you up, I tell him, I don't want to know when, and I'm not ready to go. So that always makes me nervous. And he says, I don't want to hear that. So, but
you'll be coming back, and you'll be coming back.
Well, I say now that I have an eternal lease at the orphanage. So even when I pass on, I may still decide to stay here, haunt Christy and other people that
you're gonna drive. You're gonna drive Christy crazy with the dead
You
belt.
never know. I'll be a
Purpose.
friendly ghost. I'll be a friendly ghost. At least I hope I'll be a friendly ghost. So we'll see. Well, I'm not ready for that yet. So
No.
I'd rather be
And
on the
Christy,
side.
have you built any type of connection with any type of spirits in the orphanage or Jenny Wade?
Well, definitely Billy. He likes to hear the Union version of
Dixie.
Dixie.
Mhm.
And if I play the wrong version, we get
I gotta
ignored.
do it. Christy, I gotta do a quick timeout. I'm sorry I'm being so rude, but I gotta put on my compliance hat now on.
Okay.
So I just gotta let the listeners know on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. Our listeners are going to be moving on to the next show, but if you want to continue and listen to watch this show here with Tom and Christy, or want to listen, you can go to the War Party Paranormal Facebook page or YouTube channel. And for those of you that are watching or listening through Facebook or YouTube, check out KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. They have amazing shows 24 hours a day, anywhere from UFOs to cryptids to ghosts to spiritualism. And now I'm done. I'm free and clear.
Cool. And certainly we welcome your
We can
audience
drop,
to follow.
we can drop F-bombs now if you want.
Well,
you can say whatever you like.
certainly
Drop
we'd like
FCC.
a little more self-promotion, but if your followers would like to follow Ghostly Images, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We have a good following on TikTok, and I'm starting to learn how to edit and do videos now at
Yeah, you are. You're doing a great
65
job.
years.
Very cool.
65 years old. That's a big deal, So
Yeah.
we have
Have you learned CapCuts?
I'm learning that. I just edited a few videos. I never used editing software ever, and I tried a few different ones, and then I found one that worked for me. Seemed pretty simple, and now I get
Good.
excited doing little videos and stuff.
Awesome. I'll be there in July, so I'll
All
give you
right.
some tips. How about that?
Yep, absolutely. Look forward to you coming out. So we'll have a good
And
time.
so do you guys do you have any upcoming events or anything coming that maybe the public wants to know regarding the
God.
the
We do go to Paracons. What are we going to this year? You know the Paracons. Where are we going?
I don't know where all we're going.
Oh, you don't know where we're going?
But this week does
Penhurst, don't we
start.
go
This
to-
week does start up the normal ghost tours
Yeah,
pretty much every day.
Mid-March is when we kick into. It's not busy season, but
Yeah.
we have tours every night starting in mid-March, and our tours are our entire tour schedule is on our website, ghostlyimages.net. You can book a tour that way, and we bring in various speakers during the course of the year. We work closely with a young lady who's exceptional. Her name is Rissa Miller. She has a lot of knowledge about, she tells us, great storyteller. She does a Valentine program and, Christmas program, all related. Oh, maybe she hears me.
they like that.
Yeah.
Valentine's already passed. I'm sorry, whoever rang that bell.
And we actually are hosting a big event, but I don't know if I could say anything. I'll just say it has something to do with Jason Hawes. So
okay.
I don't know if it.
Well, be on the lookout on their Facebook page.
That I think is going to be in June, I think. But I don't want to say anything if they haven't announced it yet. But that's going to be really cool hosting. And so yeah, and plus, like I said, we get it's always exciting to meet. I mean, we've had every big player in the paranormal field. I mean, Sam and Colby they were so awesome, and I know their audience is
Very
young,
cool.
but they were very respectful and generated a lot of buzz because we couldn't tell anybody they were going to be here, and they brought along FaZe Rug. If you know FaZe Rug, he's even bigger than Sam and Colby, and word leaked out that they were here, and then all the young people started surrounding the Jenny Wade house, and they almost couldn't film. They actually had to be snuck out of the Jenny Wade house in an unmarked police car that drove them through the
like
battlefield.
the Beatles, right?
Exactly. And they had to sneak them through the battlefield to the orphanage.
World.
And actually, our tour manager was in her car, and a lot of the young people started following her by mistake. And when they saw her, I'm sure they were really disappointed. But yeah, it was cool. And Kalani's been
good.
here.
We
Yeah,
need a young generation to get people.
Yeah, well,
to
we've
go
seen
into-
it's brought a lot of young people to Gettysburg and taking our tours because they are so excited because Sam and Colby were here.
Mhm.
And if it brings them to Gettysburg to learn some history and enjoy a ghost tour, it's great because, you know, you could always use an influx of young people coming to
Yeah.
Gettysburg. So it's awesome. And I know their video and Faye's Rugs, I think it got like 20 million views. So that's
Oh wow, that's
nothing
awesome.
to, you know, so it's
That
great.
means more work for you guys. How about
Well,
that?
it really is.
More people coming.
And we get a lot of school groups that come. And like I said, we had the FBI group. We get a lot of private groups that come and do tours. So we're really busy, but we have a great team of guides and we work well together. We're like a family. Christy's a big part of it.
And are you guys going to be at the Gettysburg Bash this year?
Oh, we will. We'll have a table. We will be there. So we look
All
forward
right,
to it.
so we'll
All
meet
right.
each other face to face. Then I'll be there.
Yep. All right. Sounds good.
We're going to get you into some deprivation experiments.
Okay. Whatever you like.
Uh,
I'd still like to find out if anybody can pick up on my friend that's around me. You know, one medium did one night say that there was somebody behind me, and she said it was a man with a mustache with a hat. And when I talked to Adam, he almost sounds like he's a child, but you never know. So he might have been.
adolescence, maybe?
So you just never know
Mhm.
sometimes, but it's all good. So,
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. We're
our
gonna have to
pleasure.
have you back. Maybe we'll do a live paranormal investigation or something like that. That
Yeah,
would be
we
pretty
can do
cool.
something. And like I said, our tour manager, Christina, she's a little under the weather, but she's a great storyteller. She can tell you a lot of cool things about
Mhm.
Gettysburg, not only our buildings, but about paranormal sightings that happened around the time of the battle, the aftermath of the battle.
Very cool.
She'd be a great guest for you as well. So anytime, just reach out. It's our pleasure.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Well,
you,
thank you
Eric.
for everyone who were on the
Thank you for
show.
having me.
And remember to subscribe, like to War Party Paranormal. Check out there on the bottom, Ghostly Images of Gettysburg
Yep.
tours.
Gettysburg.
And I mean, these locations are A1. I mean,
Can't beat them.
you can't go wrong with these.
No.
So, yep, check it out. And
All
everyone,
right.
have a great night. Peace.
Peace. Good night, Eric.